Number 1. The xylem in plants is an adaptation that allows plants to A. Reproduce asexually and sexually. B. Protect itself from predators. C. Receive sunlight. D. Transport water. 2. Which of the following is the least complex level of organization in the human body? F. Organ. G. Cell. H. System. J. Tissue. 3. What is the greatest danger to a patient who has damage to the skin? A. Loss of oils produced in the skin. B. Excessive muscle contractions in the damaged area. C. Infection in uncovered tissues. D. Damaged cells entering the bloodstream. 4. A student drew the model below to show the structures of a human body system. What are two of functions produced by this body system? F. Exchanges oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body. G. Produces and transports oxygen to the cells of the body. H. Moves and excretes waste products from the body cells. J. Controls and coordinates body functions such as movement. 5. Which of the answer choices describes the main function of the organelle labeled X? A. Storage. B. Reproduction. C. Energy transformation. D. Site of photosynthesis. 6. The data table below describes some organelles found within cells. Ribosomes, small roundish bodies free in the cell or attached to ER, makes proteins using instructions from the nucleus. Z. Green oval usually containing chlorophyll, uses light energy to make food for the plants. Mitochondrion, bean shaped with inner membranes, breaks down sugar molecules into energy, ATP. Which of the following accurately completes the table? X is function, Y is structure, and Z is chloroplast. G. X is function, Y is structure, and Z is lysosome. H. X is structure, Y is function, and Z is lysosome. J. X is structure, Y is function, and Z is chloroplast. 7. Nutrients and waste are transported to and from cells by which system? A. Integumentary system. B. Digestive system. C. Respiratory system. Or D. Circulatory system. 8. The dichotomous key below can be used to identify tree species. Based on the leaf shown above, which has got lobed, rounded teeth, pointed blunt, not sharp. Based on that, which species of tree is it from? F. Quercus alba. G. Quercus buckley. H. Quercus phalos. J. Quercus marylandica. Use the image below to answer questions 9 and 10. Based on your knowledge of how the sun's energy flows through food webs, which of the following explains how energy is flowing in the ecosystem shown above? A. The hawk provides energy to Z. B. Y receives energy from the grass. C. X receives energy from all other organisms in the ecosystem. D. The lizard provides energy to the grasshopper. 10. Which of the following components would have the greatest impact on the flow of energy if removed from the ecosystem in the image above? F. Hawk and mouse. G. Lizard and grasshopper. H. Mouse and tree. J. Grass and trees. 11. A group of students set up an experiment as shown in the image below. The students were most likely investigating A. Phototropism, a response of plants to an external stimulus. B. Geotropism, a response of plants to an external stimulus. C. Thigmotropism, a response of plants to an internal stimulus. D. Wilting, a response of plants to an internal stimulus. 12. Research study found that 2/3 of the non-migratory butterfly species have moved their home ranges toward the south by 20 to 150 kilometers. Which of the following is the best explanation for this phenomenon? F. The non-migratory butterflies were seeking overpopulated breeding areas. G. The non-migratory butterflies were seeking populated breeding areas. H. The non-migratory butterflies were not able to find enough food in their original home range. J. The non-migratory butterflies were able to find enough food in their original home range. 13. Dogs are descended from wolves and have changed dramatically in appearance and behavior from their wolf ancestors. What did these changes have to occur to create a new species? A. A change in the habitat of wolves caused their extinction. B. Wolves had to change their behavior and interbreed with dogs. C. The behavior of humans towards dogs had to change over time. D. The genetic material of wolves had to change over time. 14. The fur of the rabbits in the below images gives each animal a different advantage. The white fur in image 1 provides camouflage in areas with snow. The brown fur in image 2 provides camouflage in areas with trees, high grass, and shady areas. The different colors of fur are an example of F. Distributions to natural selection. G. The interdependence of living things. H. Adaptations for survival under certain conditions. Or J. A voluntary response to external stimuli. 15. What is the role of the pioneer species that appeared first on bare rock in the ecological succession of a burned forest? A. The pioneer species prevent new fires from starting in the forest. B. The pioneer species prevent other species of plant from invading the area. C. The pioneer species change the forest floor, allowing other species to colonize. D. The pioneer species mutate into a new species that are resistant to forest fires. 16. An ecosystem with high biodiversity has more types of food sources species than an ecosystem with low biodiversity. How would an ecosystem with high biodiversity be able to recover if one food source becomes unavailable? F. Organisms relying on the lost food source can eat a different food source that is available. G. Organisms relying on the lost food source can move to a different ecosystem to find food. H. Organisms relying on the lost food source will die and be replaced with different organisms. J. Organisms relying on the lost food source can grow their own food source in order to survive. 17. The image below shows the stages of ecological succession of plant communities. What other component will change along with the plant species at each stage of succession in the ecosystem? The species of animals, the amount of daylight hours, seasonal weather patterns, or yearly rainfall in inches? 18. Which of the following is an organic compound? F. C6H12O6. G. BF3. H. FEMG. J. CSI. 19. Based on the cell theory, one can assume that cells reproduce. Which of the following tenets of the cell theory best validates this assumption? A. All cells come from pre-existing cells by division. B. All known living things are made up of cells. C. All cells are basically the same in chemical composition. D. All the energy flow of life occurs within cells. 20. Which of the following digestive processes accurately describes a physical change, then a chemical change, and finally another physical change? F. Teeth breaking down a piece of paper, swallowing the piece near you, the piece of pear, small intestine converting pear into simple sugars. G. Saliva converting the pear into simple sugars, swallowing the piece of pear, small intestine converting the pear into simple sugars. H. Teeth breaking down a piece of pear, saliva starting to break down the pear, esophagus muscles squeezing the pear. J. Saliva converting the pear into simple sugars, teeth breaking down a piece of pear, stomach muscles squeezing the pear. 21. The image below compares a river microhabitat and a pond microhabitat within the same ecosystem. Which of the following statements best describes the variety of organisms in these two aquatic microhabitats? A. The river and pond microhabitat will most likely have an identical producer and consumer because they are both aquatic and part of the same ecosystem. B. The river and pond microhabitat will most likely have identical producers but different consumers because they are both aquatic and part of the same ecosystem. C. The river and pond microhabitat will most likely have identical consumers but different producers because they are both aquatic and part of the same ecosystem. D. The river and pond microhabitat will most likely have some identical producers and some identical consumers because they are both aquatic and part of the same ecosystem. 22. Students digging near their school unearthed 4 objects. One of the objects was part of the exoskeleton of an insect. The remaining objects were inorganic. The table below shows the results of a chemical analysis of the objects. Based on the chemical analysis shown in the table, which object is most likely from the the exoskeleton of the insect? F. Object W, G. Object X, H. Object Y, J. Object Z. 23. Many children resemble their parents in some way. The shape of their noses and the color of their hair are examples of inherited traits. What controls traits in organisms? A. Mitochondria in the cytoplasm. B. Chromosomes on eggs in the nucleus. C. Genes on chromosomes in the nucleus. D. Cilia attached to the outside of the cell membrane. 24. According to the cell theory, which process occurs in all cells? F. Metamorphosis. G. Making food from sunlight. H. Extracting energy from food. J. Making carbohydrates. 25. Which summary would most accurately describe this image? A. Genetic mutations occur during fertilization. B. Genetic material is passed from generation to generation. C. Sexual reproduction results in identical offspring passing genetic material. D. Asexual reproduction results in identical offspring passing genetic material. 26. Which example would result in new cells that are most different from the parent cells? F. Yeast cells splitting into new cells. G. Bacteria cells dividing into new cells. H. Skin cells dividing to produce more skin cells. J. Sperm and egg cells uniting to produce fertilized egg cells. The karyotype image below is human chromosome 12. What is the function of the material in the location marked X in the image above? A. Determine inherited traits of individuals. B. Regulating homeostasis in the cell. C. Transforming energy at the cell. D. Removing waters from the cell. 28. The dichotomous key below is used to identify fishes. Which of the following correctly identifies fish number 3? F. Band-tail puffer. G. Glassy sweeper. H. Squirrelfish. J. Spotted eagle. 29. An area with high biodiversity is stable due to which of the following statements? A. An area with high biodiversity consists of a large number of species with a low number of individual organisms. B. An area with high biodiversity consists of a large number of individuals belonging to a small number of species. C. An area with high biodiversity consists of a large number of species, each with many individual organisms. D. An area with high biodiversity consists of a number of individual organisms belonging to one species, which outnumbered those in other species. The 3 species tortoise shown in the image below all descended from a common ancestor that inhabited the islands, also shown in the image below. What is the best explanation of how these populations of tortoises changed over many generations? F. Mass extinction. G. Natural selection. H. Selective breeding. G. Genetic engineering.